It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Down on the highway, going to a show. Stop on the byway, playing rock and roll. Get around, get stoned, get beat up, throw a bone, get high, get shook. Watch all your folks, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's easy to do one night stands. Try playing a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Kanan Reif, and welcome to round number 28 out of 36 here from Nashville for the Coca-Cola Cup Series as we take a look at your starting lineup here tonight from Nashville for a bit of short track, well, not so short track, but in-between action here from the concrete banks as Scott Wimmer will be qualifying on pole for today's race in the 23 car, with Chad Little in the 28, joining him on the front row in the outside. Looking down the rest of the order, teammate Casey Kane, one of the championship leaders, starting back there in third, and John Wood will be in fourth in the 6 car. Don Thompson Jr. starts from the 5th position, and Ricky Hendrick will start in P6, another title contender. Kevin Harvick in 7th in the 29, Robbie Gordon, his teammate, side by side with him in 8th place. 9th goes to Bobby Labonte, and 10th will be Ryan Newman in the 12. Christian Elder starts this race in 11th, with Tony Stewart starting in P12, yet another championship leader. Carl Edwards in P13, as Greg Biffle will be in the 14th spot, with Jeff Gordon starting P15 and Kyle Busch on the outside in 16th. Jeff Burton will start this race in 17th position, with 18th going to Jamie McMurray, 19th will be Todd Bodine, and 20th, John Andretti. 21st will be Jeremy Mayfield in the 48, with Scott Riggs in 22nd. Scott McLaughlin gets a start in the 00. He'll be in 23rd. And 24th will be Matt Kenseth. 25th goes to Mark Martin in the 06, and Derek Cope will start in 26th position. Sterling Marlin qualifies in 27th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 28th. 29th goes to Hank Parker Jr. in the 4, and 30th will be Brian Vickers. 31st will be Mike Bliss in the 81, and Kurt Busch, the points leader, all the way back in 32nd position. Johnny Sauter will be in 33rd place, with Dave Blaney in 34th. Dale Jarrett will be in 35th, and Carl Long starts in 36th place. David Rudiman gets a start in 37th, with Ron Hornaday Jr. in 38th. Stanton Barrett will be 39th place, and David Green will be starting in 40th. Robert Presley will be in the 41st spot, and 42nd, all the way in the back, Kenny Wallace had an engine problem in qualifying and will be starting from the back with a backup car. Take you to the command here from Nashville, most famous words in motorsports, in just a few short seconds as we take you to the racetrack.
Drivers, start your engines.
42 stock cars roar to life here from Nashville with Wimmer on the pole here today. Gonna be an interesting one here today, as always. Nashville usually a racetrack with a lot of field separation, a driver's racetrack for sure, and the most notable thing worth mentioning before we get green here is Kurt Busch, the points leader, entering today by just 8 points over second place. Ricky Hendrick had a bit of a problem in qualifying here and is going to be way outside the top 30 starting this race. He's got a long way to go, Braden.
Yep.
102 laps here in today's event, and of course, as we mentioned, it's a driver's racetrack. A lot of field separation, but a lot of chassis pass early on in the running, but we'll see how this field sorts out with a very interesting Saturday qualifying. Here under the lights for Nashville, pace car going to peel off, and Scott Wimmer will lead us to the green here off of turn number 4, and we are underway here from Nashville.
One very important. Many drivers describe this track kind of as a larger Richmond. It drives similar and races very similar. A lot of strategy, a lot of just getting into the corner and getting out of the corner. A lot. You have to keep your stuff up together. You have to keep your stuff. You can't use it all up in the first few laps of the run. You can make a lot of time. And you can also save a lot of fuel here and keep competitive, as I'm sure Dale Jarrett will tell you.
Absolutely, fuel mileage. No stranger to this racetrack for sure. First lap completed as Scott Wimmer leads the opener from the pole. Casey Kane got into second place from third on the restart. And Don Thompson Jr. a nice early run as he moves into third from that fifth place starting position. Headed down the front stretch as the inside prevailed very heavily on that restart. Top 3 separated a little bit as Kevin Harvick runs fourth, fighting with Bobby Labonte in the 18 for that position.
And another good qualifying run for Christian Elder. I think that's a story we really need to get into this season.
Absolutely, that Zero car has been putting up a very solid average finish over the course of this entire season. Average start. Qualified, I believe it was 11th for this race, and that would be correct.
It's been a big issue, though, for Haas CNC Racing all season that they can't translate Saturday pace to Sunday, and it's something that I hear they're really looking deep into for the rest of this season and on to next season.
Absolutely, as John Wood made a big dive there. That was for what I believe was P5. Yes, it is, as he fights with Labonte for that position down the front stretch. 18-6. Under a blanket for that spot. Meanwhile, Casey Kane in the 38, couple of young guns up front as he goes underneath Scott Wimmer. New leader is the Yahoo 38 Ford as Casey Kane takes away the top spot.
I mean, if you just look at the point standings, you wouldn't expect this fact, but I don't believe Casey Kane has won a single race this season.
No, he has not. It has been a winless year thus far for the 38 car, and it's one thing that Kane has mentioned a lot in interviews is that they want to get a checkered flag in that machine. With the season winding down especially, win would be important for them if they could get a checkered flag to really focus up on trying to close that points gap. Had a couple of rough races a few weeks ago, especially at Richmond, I believe it was, and just Darlington, especially with the DNF at Darlington, really struggling to find their way recently with the title battle closing up, but had looked better over the last couple weeks. The furthest out of the main top 4 for the championship, he sits over 50 behind, but it's been a solid year for him so far, and to get a win would be very important for that club.
Yeah, maximum points. That's what they're looking for in the 38 car. And taking the lead early here at this racetrack where track position is so important, that's a really good first step to that goal. And what a race to have a good run, too, as his championship rivals didn't really have a good qualifying spot, did they?
Yeah, most of them starting a bit of a ways down the order, the highest of which was Ricky Hendrick in the 5, who works on his teammate Jeff Gordon for 8th. Solid running position for him so far. Can also see Tony Stewart further back in shot. The 20 runs 13th right now as he fights with Todd Bodine for position. And meanwhile, Kurt Busch, the big story that we mentioned early in the running, entered this race, the points leader. He is struggling as that was the 57 into the wall. They're going to crash back there.
Oh.
Scott Riggs got turned around in the grass. Caution flag is out. Kane's going to have to come back around to take this yellow flag.
And that is another DNF. for the 57 car. Maybe not a DNF, but another race that's just been ruined completely by something completely out of their control.
Absolutely, caution flag is out as we get a look at the replay here with Riggs. Got into the 77 here. That was Dave Blaney as Riggs put a little bit of a block. Blaney puts the bumper to the 57 to get underneath, and Riggs not cutting him a whole lot of slack off the corner, just running each other out of room, and I don't think Dave Blaney took too kindly to that one. And Riggs did everything
Riggs just couldn't get the
to slow it down.
Couldn't get the car slowed, and it just...
Yeah, and all of the bottom three were involved in that crash. As a result, they were the only ones who couldn't get around it. That was Barrett Cope and Carl Long, all a part of that accident. And, of course, Scott Riggs, who got turned by the 77. Not sure NASCAR will like that one too much, but bit of boys have at it here for sure. These guys were rubbing doors the entire way for that half a lap, and points leader Kurt Busch narrowly involved being a part of that one.
Yeah, I mean... Credit to the camera directors. Probably wouldn't have known there was a crash there for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Way back there in the order for sure, as we're coming around to take the caution flag that time, as the main race leaders hadn't taken it just yet. Casey Kane out front early in the running here, and we will be seeing early pit stops as he leads the field down and into the pits.
I can't imagine NASCAR is going to let that 50 car run around the track for too much longer with that.
Is coming into the pits regardless, so we'll be getting that 50 off the racetrack out. They'll be able to continue with all the damage on that machine. Casey Kane, race leader 38, going to lead the field down pit road here. Top four all by themselves, thanks to the fact that they took that caution a lap late. And we'll see what the results on pit exit are going to be here. With your race leader into the pits here on lap number 11. At least 2 tires expected to go on here, maybe more.
I mean, I don't see why you don't take 4 here if you're in that top group of 4.
Yeah, at least a few of these guys taking 2 tires. The 31 of Robbie Gordon is going to end up taking 2 tires, and he will inherit the race lead from the top 10. Wimmer got held in the pits a little bit there on exit. Kevin Harvick.
Yet another aggressive pit strategy move by the 31 team.
Yeah, if there's anyone that's familiar to it, it's that 31 car. 4 car also took just 2 tires on that last stop, as well as the 68. That'd be Sauter and Hank Parker Jr. So under caution here, early in the running. Robbie Gordon out front now, thanks to the pit strategy call. We'll be right back here from Nashville with the 31 up front. Back from intermission here at Nashville rather quickly, as Robbie Gordon and the 31 will have the lead. Looking at the rest of your top 5, it's much of the same as Kane, Thompson Jr., Wimmer, and Harvick round out this top 5 group. Elder right behind them in 6th, Gordon 7th, Labonte 8th, Wood 9th, and Parker Jr. One of the drivers on 2 tires rounds out your top 10. Pace car going to peel off here as we head towards the race restart with the 31 out front, and we are back green.
I wonder if... I think it might be worth paying attention to the Ford to see if he can hold that track position.
Yeah, definitely worth noting as he got the bottom there into the first set of corners. Think Edwards might slip under. Nope, going to cover the bottom there. Nice move by the 4 of Parker Jr. Meanwhile, top 3 break away as Thompson Jr. leads the field up 3 wide back there as Bobby Labonte trying to find some room on the bottom. Falls back down to 2 wide on corner exit. As Elder moves up all the way into 4th. Here's Thompson Jr. fighting with Kane. And all the way up to Robbie Gordon as he made contact. What a move by Thompson Jr. The 33's got the race lead down the backstretch.
Someone get the card. It's a 2-for-1 special at Menards.
Off of turn 4, Thompson Jr. going to lead his first lap of today. As Casey Kane drops back down to 3rd, Robbie Gordon very nearly spun himself out trying to cover off the 33 who takes away 1st. Kane now getting to work on Gordon for 2nd. Couldn't quite find the lane down there as he got a little bit checked up.
You know, that Andy Petrie racing machine has shown flashes of speed all season long with Jack Sprague. Do you think that Thompson could actually pull this one out?
Early in the running, but that car looking really fast early on here today. And, I mean, there was that race, it was a couple weeks ago, I believe it was Darlington, where Thompson Jr. was on the good end of strategy and ended up one of the race leaders late in that one, as we had some contact and a spin. That was Mike Bliss way off the pace, dropping smoke down the backstretch. Believe this will end up being a caution here. Yes, it will, as it was contact with Hornaday Jr., who got into the 81. A lot of 3 wide resulting in spins, and that is going to be another caution flag.
I tell you, the happiest person to see those lights come on right about now is Robbie Gordon.
31 will come home in 2nd place at the yellow flag. Thompson Jr. way out front with the race lead. I believe Scott Riggs probably not meeting minimum speed there under that last run, as we'll take the caution flag and pull up to the pace queue here. See if we'll get any extra pitters this time. If they're going to want to come down again, and they will. Might see a car or 2 stay out here, though not entirely sure. Seems like pretty much everybody's going to come in. And yeah, that is the entire field, bringing it down pit road here. This will give Riggs a second breath of life. I don't believe the 57 team got done with damage repairs under that last caution.
Yeah. Just got to make sure all those pit crew members get some Powerade with all the work they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Thompson Jr. race leader here on lap number 19, pulling into the pits. Might we expect 4 tires from the 31 crew as well as the 4, and 2 from everybody else? Oh, contact! 2 teammates!
Oh, no!
Casey Kane, who was leaving the pits on 2 tires, and the 38 has right side damage now.
Oh, good grief.
You talk about someone who cannot catch a break. Casey Kane and Chad Little getting into each other, the 2 teammates entering the pits. As Little had to enter his box, that's the outside pole sitter, right as Kane was pulling away, and absolutely nowhere for either of them to go. Kane lucky he didn't get into the 23 there.
I mean, your teammates, you have 2 pit boxes. You have the pit boxes right next to each other. No one was talking.
Wow.
I can't imagine Robert Yates is going to be happy about that at all.
Yeah, that is his championship car out front. Casey Kane, who decided to take the 2 tires on that stop, now takes punishment for it, as he will end up being with some pretty hefty damage on the right side. See about getting that repaired later. Some drivers taking fuel only, as the 16 and 81 took fuel only. Interesting, Mike Bliss, who spun around to bring out that last caution, took fuel only. Kane, of course, took fuel only. The 19 and 17 did as well. That's Kyle Busch and Matt Kenseth, 3rd and 2nd place. We'll take you back here, as it is the 38 car out front, but for how long with that damage, we'll find out just prior to 20 laps completed. Bringing it right back here as Casey Kane will have the race lead. Again, with that right side damage, we'll see how long that lasts. The rest of the top 5 is going to be Kenseth Busch, Thompson Jr., Gordon, and Jeremy Mayfield. Looking at the rest of the title contenders as Ricky Hendrick runs in 19th position, Tony Stewart is 14th, and Kurt Busch still mired back there. He'll be restarting in 31st place. Pace car off, Kane to the stripe. We're back green. Kenseth wasting no time to try to jump to the outside. Kyle Busch is going to look to go low. Thompson Jr. got caught out by Robbie Gordon in the 31 as they head into turn 1. Busch right up into second. It was the wrong move for Kenseth there. Down the back stretch now. Mayfield with a big dive bomb into turn 3 to pull alongside Robbie Gordon for 4th. 3 wide down the front stretch. That's Hank Parker Jr. caught out on the outside. He's got some right side damage on that race car as well.
It's not the outside that you're worried about 3 wide. It's the middle you're worried about when going 3, though.
Absolutely. Kane just lost the lead. That's Kyle Busch into first in the 19 car. Looking at the back of the field here as we got one through the grass. That's your points leader, Kurt Busch, into the outside wall. Caution is out. Championship implications as the points leader, Kurt Busch, is into the fence in turn 3.
Oh, good.
McLaughlin around in the 00 as well. Jeff Burton caught up in this accident. A couple of separate spins, I believe. No, part of the same incident. It was Dave Blaney involved in this one. He got checked up. McLaughlin into the back, trying to avoid the 77. Probably didn't get the call from the spotter there, and straight down the racetrack. Saw some dust up here. I thought, nope, looking like everything's fine, but McLaughlin and Busch through the grass. McLaughlin absolutely zero chance of getting checked up there, and straight across the racetrack. That's a hard impact. Man, barely missed Ryan Newman in the 12.
Impact too.
Oh my goodness, what a hit. Lucky about those safer barriers. And, of course, the 99 and 01 as Kurt Busch also couldn't get even close to slow down himself. Pile drives the 99 car into the fence. And your points leader, Kurt Busch, wrecked hard here on lap number 23. McLaughlin with a hefty impact. Hoping he's all right after that one. We're back under caution again, and yet more pit stops, but this time a bit of split strategy. 18 of Bobby Labonte.
Bobby Labonte will stay out. Ricky Hendrick will stay out. I believe that's John Wood will stay out.
John Wood, Elder, Brian Vickers, a member of that group as well. So one of the championship leaders is going to stay out. Of course, a bit of a sigh of relief here for Casey Kane, as he's going to be able to get some damage repairs on the right side of that machine after the incident on pit road with Little earlier.
I mean, all 3 of those wrecks, though, had... all 3 wrecks had 3 wide, with Dave Blaney being one of the 3 in there.
Yeah, tough break for sure. Blaney really struggling to avoid it, but at least this time he didn't get any further involvement as he stuck it on the outside. No tires yet for Kane as they work on solely repairing that race car. Looks like it is just going to be fuel only and mainly repairs. Good move to focus on getting that thing fixed, but he's going to lose a lot of track position here.
As we all know, that's the one thing that really matters at this place.
Yeah, fell a long way down the order. Some drivers took tires. I believe Busch and Kenseth were on some rubber there. Yeah, 4 tires for the 19 and definitely the 17 as well if he's there as well. Some drivers taking less. Results in people moving up and everywhere. A lot of split pit strategy here today.
And the more of these yellows after yellows after yellows we have, the more split the strategies are gonna get.
Yeah, absolutely. 97 of Carl Edwards leaving the pits a bit late there, but some repairs for him as well. I believe he got involved in something on the pits as well. Scott Riggs also finally done getting that race car fixed up. Take you to intermission here from Nashville. Your race leader, now the 18 of Bobby Labonte. Be right back. I'd like to apologize. Didn't even realize I didn't have the stream window open properly, so we'll get you a replay on the accident there with points leader Kurt Busch, who is now out of the race. Just mired back in the pack here, and it was involving McLaughlin and Dave Blaney. 77 got a bit loose there right in front of the 00. Nowhere for McLaughlin to go, and trying to stay off of him. Doesn't realize Kurt Busch is down there. And goes straight through the grass, and absolutely zero chance to slow down. A hard impact for McLaughlin as he just destroyed the outside wall. And, of course, Kurt Busch also through the grass without the ability to stop as he slipped up, involved 99 car. That would be Jeff Burton there. So a hard crash, and Kurt Busch out of this race. That is your points leader. Take it back to intermission for just a short period here. We'll be right back here from Nashville. Back here at Nashville once again. Here is Labonte in the 18 car that'll be first place. Your top five is going to be Hendrick, Wood, Elder, and Vickers. That is your top five as we leave turn 4. Bobby Labonte staying out to take the lead. Pace car peels off. Coming to lap number 28 here as we are back green yet again. Great start by the 18 to pull away from the 5 of Hendrick into turn number 1.
It's going to be a real Zerg rush in the middle as people with tires start trying to get around those that didn't pit.
Yeah, definitely looking into 19 and 17 here, who were on 4 this last time. Casey Kane is well mired back there, and he didn't take tires. It was focused entirely on repairs, so not sure how the pace is going to be out of the 38. Probably just biding until you get another pit stop now, especially on his part.
I mean, with how this race has been going so far, I wouldn't be surprised. Banking on another yellow isn't exactly a bad bet.
Yeah, definitely not. Battle for the lead here is Ricky Hendrick in the 5 is going to take away first from the 18 of Labonte. Into first place goes the 5 team. John Wood's going to look for second. Todd Bodine pulling up. He's into 4th place in the 26 machine. It's been an all over the place race so far. Here's 3 wide off of turn number 2. Jamie McMurray slipping past both Thompson Jr. and Christian Elder. Great move by the 40. Whew, man, Vickers got sideways there. This is tight in the midfield right now. was all over the back bumper. I believe it was Thompson Jr. there as he entered turn number 3 and got sideways with how close he was following. Can imagine some air came off that thing. Now getting underneath the 33. Huge run there. Hendrick is pulling away with the lead here. Putting the gap on the 18 of Labonte, who runs second. Todd Bodine's all the way up into third, looking for second place on the 18 machine.
Seems like we've calmed down a little bit, at least.
Yeah, seeming all right so far.
Or
There's
not.
Jeff Gordon caught up on in a battle there. Another one of the points leaders a part of that. That's Tony Stewart in the 20, fighting with Johnny Sauter. I believe that's for E16? Maybe 15 here. As Stewart will get clear on the outside of the 68. Or maybe not. Oh, 3 wide. Trying to give each other enough room. Bumping doors. Here's Marlin on the bottom of 3 wide into turn 3.
Oh, I don't like what I'm seeing here. But they make it. They get through it. And Sauter somehow comes out of that.
All the way up in 16th.
No, that was some driving right there.
Absolutely a great move. How long, though, as Stewart's going to pull back up to the back bumper and look to the inside. 20 car trying to make as many moves as he can to capitalize on Busch being out of the race, and with Ricky Hendrick leading this show right now. Absolutely needs to pick up some ground right now. 18, 6, 23, 25, your top 5 at the moment, as Brian Vickers gets past Todd Bodine for 5th.
Seems to have gotten a little loose, though. Here we go.
Threw a block on Bodine out of turn 2. 26 looking low to try to take that spot back. But Vickers prevailing on the outside as he gets back clear out of turn 4.
That's kind of the thing we begin to notice deeper in these runs, is that the groove moved higher and higher and higher on the track.
Yeah, definitely, but I'm not giving up just yet. He's still there on the bottom as he pulled back underneath. Vickers tried to throw the block and had to back out of it. Thompson Jr. trying to take it 3 wide up the middle. Couldn't quite find the grip there. But that unsettles the 25 enough for the 26 of Bodine to move up into P5. Here's Kenny Wallace, who started this race in 42nd place, looking for the 5th position, but couldn't quite do it as Bodine shuts the door on him in turn 1. We are not even 40 laps into this thing yet.
I mean, yeah, we still have over half a race to go, and
it's been a struggle fight so far. Scott Wimmer, the latest of these drivers who has pulled a long way up. Would like to check his last pit stop, actually, when we were under caution last, for what the strategy was on the 23, if they took tires or not. Might have. Nope, gonna be fuel only. So all these guys who are up front right now are on just fuel, no tires on the last pit stop. Hard to say how recent some of the tires are for some of these guys with how many times we've been down pit road today. But Scott Wimmer up and into 3rd. Ricky Hendrick a comfortable lead at the moment. 80 and 57 believe they should be able to stay on the racetrack despite the fact they're a bit of a ways off next car. That's Dave Blaney. Casey Kane, who is still struggling to find any semblance of grip after the repairs, is down to P30.
I mean, he's also on probably the oldest tires on the track, considering the whole reason he got that damage was a fuel-only stop 2 cautions ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kane looking for a bit of a break at the midpoint of this race. We'll see if he ends up getting it as John Wood gets back past Wimmer. That's for 3rd. Bobby Labonte trying to chase down Ricky Hendrick for the lead. Has been a couple of tenths faster the last few laps.
Bobby Labonte, he's really gotten back on form this year.
Absolutely. It's been a good year for him up to this point. Currently in the standings, Labonte sits in 9th. Had that streak-breaking win a bit earlier in the year at Richmond in the spring. Has shown flashes of race-winning speed. Might have been the race winner at Texas had it not been for a late charge from Greg Biffle. That was race number 26. And you talked about it early in the showing. Using up your stuff early might not be so great. Ricky Hendrick, who pulled a huge gap for the lead, has got the 18 now bearing down on him for first after just maybe 10, 15 laps on those tires.
And that's really what we're seeing between these two. This is a difference between a younger driver who's not really been in the sport all that long and a grizzled veteran that's been here for the better part of 2 decades.
Bobby Labonte's shown a bit of a show of experience maybe, but he's not there yet as Ricky Hendrick still leads this race. Wood and Wimmer still 3rd and 4th. It's Greg Biffle in the 16 who moves up into 5th. Let me check the pit logs for this one as well. I'm not so sure when Biffle pit last. I think I'll have to go back to the actual pit footage on this one here as well. But I believe Biffle was in the pits for tires when he came in. Yep. That'd be a 4-tire stop for the 16, and he's the highest driver on tires right now who runs in 5th. I believe Harvick was on tires as well. 7th place for him, and Biffle is a lot faster than pretty much everybody around him right now. Here's Wimmer for 3rd. And he makes that pass look easy as he's up past John Wood for the P3 spot. Those two have traded that position a couple of times here. Keeping tabs on the back end of the field. Hendrick, his lead narrows just a little bit further to Bobby Labonte in the 18, who's still putting the pressure on right now, but taking his time with it. As Wood is
That's what you got to do here. That's what you have to do.
Big mistake that last corner, though, as Hendrick pulls a long way ahead thanks to that mistake out of the 18. Nobody's perfect. 5 still out front. As Biffle's now pulled up to this group of drivers here. This is, of course, Wimmer and Wood, 3rd and 4th, in front of the 16, who's probably the fastest car on the racetrack right now.
I suppose the million-dollar question here is, will Wood be a good teammate?
Well, he's already helped Biffle catch up a little faster thanks to the fact that they were battling so much for 3rd. Biffle trying the outside to maybe get a little bit of a run off the corner. No, just got checked up, maybe pushing a little bit tight. And David Rudiman running in 8th, another good run for him, who flew all the way out here in between yesterday and today to run this race. Was the pole sitter in the GNS race on Saturday at IRP, just a couple of hours away by car. Fairly quick flight to get over here. And decided to run both of the races this week. He's now up and into, I believe that is 7th in the 55 machine. As Biffle, another position working for the 16 as he moves past Wood. Not sure how quick the 6 is going to give up here. We're talking about being a good teammate. Here's John Wood back underneath the 16 as Wimmer's going to dive into the pits.
And here we go.
And race leader Ricky Hendrick is in early as well. Labonte stays out. So here's where we really start to see it with the split strategy. Imagine Biffle will probably be out a little longer. As Labonte, of course, one of the drivers who stayed out, is going to come into the pits here. John Wood went in as well that time.
Really the game for like Biffle and the people that took tires is you have to be able to try and stretch this thing to only make it on one more stop. Everyone that's coming in now has to do at least 2 stops after this.
Probably pretty likely. Would like to check when that last pit stop was, as a matter of fact. For the 16 machine and pretty much everybody else who came in, that question is answered as it was on lap number 24 to 25. And then, of course, these guys who stayed out earlier than that still, that would be 18 and 19.
18 and 19, you're probably, that's about 30 laps. That'll be, that's 50, 80, that's 1 stop. these guys are going to have to stretch it for 20. It's not gonna. You're not gonna be able to make. You're not gonna be able to eliminate the final stop. Everyone has the same amount of stops you can make, but the question now is: do you split this last run? Do you try and split it in half? Everyone has to make one more stop. It becomes a game of the tires.
Absolutely. Saw a couple more coming in there. That's the 55 and 20, as well as the 33. All into the pit lane. You can imagine it's going to be tight here, absolutely, and of course the pit strategy is going to be pretty important here. And Biffle, your race leader, is in. Kevin Harvick will follow him through. Robbie Gordon, never the driver to run some wacky strategies. He'll stay out an extra lap here and take the race lead this time by. Ryan Newman in the 12 sticks out with him as well. Gordon and the 43 of John Andretti on the racetrack still.
You also have to wonder if any of these championship guys are going to stay. If any of the championship guys are going to pick one of these pit stop cycles and stay out an extra lap to grab a lap lead.
Well, lucky for Casey Kane, he's not going to have to. Ricky Hendrick doesn't as well, since he's led laps under green today as well. The only one that would consider is going to be the 20 of Stewart. And he was in a little earlier on this cycle with these guys. So we'll see what the plan is for them. Robbie Gordon might get held up a little bit here. No, Mark Martin is going to slip in line behind the 31. And race leader Robbie Gordon into the pits. 22 of Sterling Marlin, I believe, stayed out an extra time. Yes, he did. So he picks up a lap lead as well. That is the last pitter, as meanwhile, I believe this is for the net race lead, as Bobby Labonte is ahead of the 5 of Hendrick. Yes, indeed. So rounding turn 2, I believe the 18 should have the lead in just a lap or two with the 22 car in the pits. Hendrick way out of the line there, trying to find some grip behind Labonte. Should be second place this time, as Marlin, of course, was in the pits. Yes, it will be. So Labonte going to be your net race leader now. Takes over in front of the 5. Big breath of fresh air for Casey Kane, but a lot of time lost on that last run. He's now 27th. And he's got a lot of ground to make up, and still hoping for that caution to bring that thing back to life. Tony Stewart, the next of the championship contenders, running in 14th place, and Jeff Gordon, one of the outsiders, back there in 23rd. He's a bit longer back in the championship. It was over 150, in fact, 153. Labonte out front, leading who is currently your championship leader as they run. Ricky Hendrick in second place with plenty of laps led.
We got lap traffic.
Ooh, lappers are side by side in front of the 18. That's going to allow Hendrick to pull up. Thought about going to the outside, but he's just going to bide his time and follow Labonte, who got way checked up in the dirty air of Riggs. Do not believe NASCAR is going to enjoy those two getting in the way there. And imagine they will probably be pulled off the track after that little debacle. Hendrick cutting it close there. Thought about getting underneath Bobby Labonte for the lead, as the two lappers are going to pull off the track here. Couldn't quite get the nose to stick. It is just these two, and over 2-second lead to the 6 of Wood and 16 of Biffle. Might be a little smaller after that exchange with the lap cars. So a couple of Roush teammates battling for third place. David Rudiman, a great run. He's into 5th. Continuing to climb the ladder, and 78 car of Hornaday Jr. has a problem. That's his brakes, and that is going to be a caution flag here.
And if you can hear that you hear that exhale, that is the entirety of the Casey Kane contingent in those grandstands.
Absolutely. This caution coming very quickly after the pit stops, but we're going to see more as the field is going to pull it down. No, 6 and 16 will stay out, so the drivers who pit later are going to stay on the racetrack here.
Do they think they can make it?
Not entirely sure. Probably unlikely, but going to be playing a bit of a different strategy. You couldn't make it from here, I don't think, either, given that it was about a 30-lap run. So drivers who were pitting in earlier are going to come in again. That is only a few drivers, but the two race leaders, and who was your net championship leader, Ricky Hendrick, is into the pits. More championship drama here. Going to be tires at least on the right side for the 18 and 5. Might take 4, would expect them to take 4. And it will be 4 tires for Bobby Labonte as well as the 5 for Ricky Hendrick. And hearing news with the 26 as Todd Bodine has an issue.
I think it was a report of a sudden drop in fuel pressure.
And expecting that they're going to take that thing behind the wall. That's a tough break. That was one of the top 5 cars on that last run. So that'll promote John Wood in the 6 to the race lead. We'll take you to intermission here from Nashville with him up front. Going to be interesting to see what these guys on fresh tires can do, as the order of tire management has been entirely swapped. The 18 and 5, who were the ones on the older tires, now back there at the very back on fresher stuff. We'll be right back here from Nashville. John Wood, your race leader. Back here once again at Nashville as Wood will lead the field to the green here. Looking at the rest of the top 5, it'll be Biffle, Rudiman, Gordon, and Wallace, the top 5 here. Tony Stewart now the net championship leader as he runs in 7th. Casey Kane is in 19th now, thanks to a bit of a promotion with the pit stops under caution. Ricky Hendrick will restart this race in 31st. Pace car going to peel off here. 6 and 16, 2 teammates up front into the restart box as we are back green yet again. Just over 30 laps to go here. Robbie Gordon in the 31 jumps to the outside.
37 laps to go.
You got to think, though, that those guys ran like 8 or 9 laps under green.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, those guys at pit, you could... I could see one of them actually being able... You can save 5 laps of fuel. I mean, the pit window was about... Yeah, we've seen it happen here.
Yeah,
it's not difficult to see. Yeah.
So we'll see. It's interesting. And yet another thing to keep track of in this race. Tony Stewart got filtered up to the outside on that restart. Really really sideways for a moment. Greg Biffle takes the race lead in the 16 over his teammate, John Wood. Bobby Gordon's up and in third.
This is the race where the crew chiefs earn their paychecks.
Ooh, contact there. That was Kenseth and Rudiman, who were a little bit squirrely off of turn 2. Rudiman throwing a bit of a block on Kenseth afterwards, not too pleased, I can imagine. Here's Robbie Gordon for second. It has been a race of comers and goers today.
It really has been. And it's the other thing to note is that the differential and tire strategy is going to be really heightened. Because there was a 5-6 green flag lap difference in tires between most people. So the people that pit later are probably going to be faster and are going to be able to pit later in this next run.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it becomes the game of how early do you pit?
On top of the fact that Greg Biffle is one of the guys who pit the latest. He was the leader of the second to last group. Robbie Gordon was the leader at the end of that run, as well as he's been up here for a bit. Here's David Rudiman joining this battle for second place. 3 cars under a blanket there now. Looking back here as Tony Stewart's fighting to try to get back into the top 10. Casey Kane's been on the move. He's into 16th. In fact, might even be further than that as he's fighting with Thompson Jr. for what I believe is P15 on the racetrack now. And moves up a place ahead of the 33 and staying in front of the 97, although Edwards spooks him up the track but can't stay underneath. As Kane found the grip up high. Jeff Gordon staying in front of Tony Stewart, who still runs in the 11th position. Robbie Gordon's come out on top of this increasingly aggressive battle for second place. Rudiman in third.
But it is all Greg Biffle up front.
Yeah, Biffle's loving the battle that existed in his mirror for a while there now. With 30 laps to go this time by, he's got a big margin now, and they're still fighting for it as Rudiman goes back underneath here for second place. Excuse me. Gordon fighting back on the outside, though.
With a monster run. Here we go.
Left him in the dust out of turn 4. Harvick tried to follow with his teammate, but couldn't quite get that monster run that he did. Almost fell into the clutch.
Here comes Kyle Busch. He's got a big run.
Out of turn 2 down the backstretch, he fights with Newman for 5th place. Taking it all the way to Harvick, almost. Couldn't quite get all the way there. A little bit too hard on the brakes. Side by side with the 12 for P5 as they head double wide down the front stretch here. Tony Stewart still trailing this battle. Matt Kenseth got underneath him. Casey Kane still on the move, and tell you what, Ricky Hendrick on the move as he is nearing the top 15. Bobby Labonte not too far behind as well.
Shades of Pocono 2005?
It's been a heck of a run for him so far. Makes you think all the way back to Jimmy Johnson at Pocono a couple of years ago. I believe that was in 2003. As he's going to make quick work of Casey Kane, one of his fellow championship contenders, and running away with it down the backstretch. Kane going to try to follow him through, and a very respectable move. Maybe even take the fight to the 5. Couldn't quite get under him there. That's 3 wide. Back behind them, Bobby Labonte trying to slip past the 40 and 81. And did so. A good move by Bobby Labonte there.
Almost 4 wide.
A lot of stacking up back there. Bliss, Edwards, McMurray, Mayfield, all in that mix at the back end of the field. Labonte is going to try to get around the 38 here. And
I can imagine one of those drivers. I can imagine quite a few of those drivers are asking for 4 tires and a new fire suit.
Absolutely, that was a very, very scary debacle there. Labonte absolutely taking off out of turn 4. A huge run at the 43. Couldn't get underneath him as Andretti covers the bottom, if only for a moment.
You want to see what fresh tires do at this track?
We're seeing it right now. Ricky Hendrick is into the top 10 now, and he's almost gotten all the way up to Tony Stewart. These two separated by just 3 points entering today, with Hendrick the advantage, trying to retake the net points lead.
But you have to imagine, I don't think they're saving.
No, you don't. I don't think so either, honestly. You just want to make the most of those tires right now with how disadvantaged they were on the start by starting position. Yeah, no, Ricky Hendrick right underneath. If anything, Bobby Labonte would be the one saving because he's taken significantly more time to get through the field and is really biding his time at the moment. He's currently stuck behind the 43 of Andretti. He's tried a couple times to pass him to no avail. But Ricky Hendrick has been absolutely flying as he almost got into Kyle Busch there. I believe he might have given him a little tap and slips right on by.
You know, and I think part of the reason Ricky Hendrick is cutting through the field quite as fast, quite quicker than Bobby Labonte is because, well, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people here that would not like to see a fast-charging Ricky Hendrick in their rear mirror.
Tell you what, someone looking to capitalize on fresh tires, John Wood is into the pit lane now.
Oh boy, here we go.
Greg
and
Biffle
now
still on the racetrack.
And now the chess game begins.
Nobody else coming in. It's just the 6.
Just the 6. I mean, John Wood has to be gambling that everyone has to pit again. Is he going for 4 or is he going for 2?
4-tire call. 2-car in as well as a 0 of Elder.
People are starting to trickle in.
Biffle still on the racetrack from the race lead. And 2 championship contenders as Ricky Hendrick is past Tony Stewart for what is P7. Now the question is yet another strategy question. If these drivers who are still on the racetrack stay out long enough but still have to pit, they're going to probably take 2.
I mean, really, yeah, you kind of have to. And you have to imagine that the 5 and the 18, they're on their last set of tires, because if they're pitting, they're not taking any tires. Their projected time to pit would be lap 5. 5 to go. And you're not taking tires with 5 to go, surely. Not under green, at least.
Probably not. It'd be interesting to see if that is the call that they make. There will be plenty of tire sets left, even though we've seen so many pit stops. 20 and 55 into the pits. Looking at the race leader, Greg Biffle's in, and Robbie Gordon stays out to take the lead. At this point, it still probably would be worth it to take 4, but we'll see if that's the move for some of these guys, if any. It was 4 tires
really,
for
the
Hank
difference
Parker Jr.
The difference between 4 and 2 tires is about a half a second a lap.
Biffle
And the difference
in.
between 4 and no tires is about a second and a half a lap.
More drivers
That's really
in.
the thing.
29-31. Ryan Newman, now your race leader.
Probably not for long, though. You have to imagine.
It's 4 tires for the 16 and the 20. Here comes Ricky Hendrick down the backstretch as Newman will dive in, as does Jeff Gordon, 18 and 5, your 2 new race leaders. Scott Wimmer sticks on the racetrack. He's up and into 3rd. I believe he was on the same strategy as these 2.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Yeah, everybody who
I
is
believe
coming
Dave
in.
Blaney was also on that strategy.
Not entirely sure. 22 and 25 definitely are. There is the 77 on the racetrack, yes.
Another where did he come from run for the 77.
Absolutely. So, your race leader trying to find that 5 car of Ricky Hendrick. There he is. We'll see if they can make it. So it's going to be 2 tires now as we see some more 2-tire strategy here. 38 took 4. 31 took 2. 19 took 2. 17 did as well. 48, 24, 12, and 97. So we've entered the point where these drivers start to take 2 tires. Mayfield leaving the pits just behind the 16. 24 just in front. Looking to see where the 6 is. I believe he's behind Greg Biffle. Not entirely sure, actually. Yes, he is. By quite a long margin, so will be interesting to see here. And of course, Ricky Hendrick and Bobby Labonte might be about to make a no-tire move. We'll see if they pit early enough to warrant taking 2. Gonna be a tough call. Ricky Hendrick, your race leader, is blowing up! Pulls it straight into the pit lane, and the 5 is down a motor! Oh my goodness!
No!
Straight into the pits, racetrack stays green, Bobby Labonte has the lead!
And Joe Gibbs is cracking the biggest smile he's ever made. Casey Kane wrecked on the pits. Kurt Busch taken out by a lap car. And now Ricky Hendrick blowing up. His car's in the lead, and his car is more than likely exiting this race in the championship lead.
Some of the drivers who were staying out on that last cycle are going to be in now. The 25 came in. Bobby Labonte, the race leader, probably expected to come in a couple of laps. It'll be 10 to go at the line. 18 still on the track. 23 still on the track. My goodness. Championship implications now. Of course, the racetrack stays green since Ricky Hendrick immediately pulled off the racetrack into the pits. It's Bobby Labonte first. Will the 18 leave the pits in the lead is the question, if he pits at all. And he is going to pit. In is the 18. Wimmer follows him down.
Well, I don't think Wimmer followed him. He's still on track.
No, he did.
Oh, wait.
3 cars
No.
in. So what is the call, Mr. 18? Will Labonte take no tires or 2? It'll be an interesting question. Might be close to the net lead. We'll see where he ends up. Hendrick in the pit lane.
He's trying to get that car fixed.
Hasn't yet retired the thing and pulled it behind the wall. It is going to be 2 tires for the 18 of Labonte as he is immediately away. 9 laps to go for him. Hendrick now out of the race.
They've just pushed it behind the wall.
18 leaves. Greg Biffle is coming up on him, and the 16 of Greg Biffle is up and into the lead. Labonte leaving in second at the moment. Here comes Newman and Robbie Gordon. Got right in front of the 12, who was trying to pass the 31. Tony Stewart is going to be, I believe, 11th. Yes, he will. Casey Kane in the 38 is still a bit of a ways back. That's 21st. Fighting with teammate of Tony Stewart, Mike Bliss, for the 20th spot. Greg Biffle looking to run away with yet another late season win. It would be, as I get a look, it would be his 4th win of the season if he can take this checkered flag home.
You know, everyone...
Ooh, Jeff Gordon, sideways! Held on to it, what a save. Goodness me, almost got spun around by Kevin Harvick. I was just about to comment on Gordon, who's going to make up a lot of points thanks to this race. Even if not too many, because of the fact that Tony Stewart is running fairly well at the moment as well. Gordon in 6th now. Biffle in command of this race. It'll be 5 laps to go at the line for the 16 car.
Caution will end this race at this time.
Stewart trying to make up any positions he can. He's in a 10th. Casey Kane also has been putting some work in and is catching, that's now John Wood in the 6 on way older stuff. He moves past one Roush car, maybe two, as he's looking to work on Carl Edwards in the 97. Kane putting everything together that he can as he takes 4 laps to go now. Stewart a part of a big battle. This is for 8th. Ricky Hendrick, who might have very well been with Biffle for the lead exiting the pits. Probably not. Would have been in between 31 and 16. You have to imagine what it could have been, and now is down in 34th, and that will be his final resting place at the end of this race. Casey Kane up another spot. He's into 16th. 3 laps to go. It'll be 2 at the line.
Tony Stewart isn't making anything up. And Kane is
doing everything he can to mitigate the damage to the 20. 2 laps to go as Stewart gets past Mayfield for 9th. Jeff Gordon, another one of these outside title contenders, running right in front of the 20 car. I think he'll have a chance to make up one more spot here. Harvick and Robbie Gordon fighting for second as the 29 will get past his team. I believe Harvick's on some better tires. Last lap for Greg Biffle.
And so long as he keeps the engine in one piece, and maybe even if he does blow up,
might have enough of a gap to coast it. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Biffle has come alive late in this season. Strung off win after win. He gets another one off of turn 4. The 16 wins it here at Nashville, his 4th of the season. Kevin Harvick comes home in 2nd. The 20 made up yet more spots. He'll finish in P7. A great finish for Stewart, who will be the points leader after today. Casey Kane brings it all the way into the top 15. He finishes 14th. A great run by him as well. And a great recovery drive for sure. You wonder what could have been if he hadn't been ran into in the pit lane. That'll do it here from Nashville with the 16-year victor. So congratulations to Biffle. Tell you what, been a good middle portion of the season for him and continues down the stretch as he takes another victory. Much better in contrast to the start of the season that he had, but that'll do it here from Nashville with the 16 in victory lane yet again. Next week, it'll be Kansas for race number 29. We'll catch you then. On behalf of Braden in the booth tonight, I'm your host, Caden Reif, and as always, we'll catch you then and have yourself a good one.
It's a long way to the top.